What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Who You Got with
Mellow.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports highlights, sports debates, and sports matchups. And we want to thank you guys for coming up and listening to us again. And we got a lot of things to tell you guys. If you guys are watching, make sure you guys like the video below. And if you guys are listening to whatever podcast platform you are, if you guys are listening to us, Apple, Spotify, we're everywhere. Make sure you guys go ahead and click that subscribe button and make sure you rate it as well. We'd love that. And also, we got a lot of good things to tell you guys about our new merch that we got on our Patreon. If you go ahead and go on our Patreon, patreon.com/whoyougotpodcast. If you sign up and then go ahead and follow along with us, there's a few tiers that you can subscribe and check out the behind the scenes. And also, we got some merch for you guys.
Oh, yeah. You know we love giving back to the fans.
Exactly. And you can just follow us on all social media. We're on TikTok, /Who You Got. Also, if you just check us out on YouTube, just search Who You Got on the search bar. You guys will find
Pretty
us.
much anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Exactly.
Anywhere you need to.
We got like short reels everywhere as well. And like you said, also on Facebook and wherever else, you need to find us. But also, if you want to check out our personal Instagrams, I'm at Instagram/TheIconicDude.
And Mellow the Notorious.
There you go. So if you guys want to check us out there, and I appreciate you guys again for checking us out. So what are we talking about this week, Mello?
Oh, you already know. It's been a hell of a year. A lot of sports. Obviously, we cover a lot of UFC events, and we are pretty much in the middle of July. And today I wanted to talk about basically our own version of the Midseason Awards.
Right.
Pretty much who's been impressing so far 6 months into the year. And we've been saying it every main card. They never seem to surprise. It's been a hell of a year, hell of a lineup, a lot of great fights. So definitely want to start talking about some of those top UFC fighters who have been making a scene this year.
That's for sure. And I mean, like you said, it has been a hell of a year for the UFC. They put out some amazing cards, honestly.
Oh, yes.
Like the main fight in the card is always exciting.
Oh, yes.
The undercard is exciting too. You got a lot of prospects that you're looking at. So we wanted to pretty much just give all the awards away. We got how many awards that we want to go through?
Oh, yeah.
6?
We got a submission of the year, knockout of the year, fight of the year, fighter of the year, best female fighter, best male fighter. Obviously, one of those are going to be our fighter of the year, more than likely. Possibly. Best prospect, and then best main card.
Nice. So, I mean, why don't we just go ahead and get into it? I think that we should start off with submission of the year, to be honest. And,
yes, and a lot of great choices.
You know what? This year has been a year for submissions, and even though a lot of the way the UFC has moved, it's moved from submissions to stand-up fighting this year for sure, but and a lot of the knockouts are pretty much, knockout by punches or on the ground punches. But this year there was a few that really stood out, and for me, the submission of the year had to go to Yuri Prochaska when he beat Glover Teixeira in a lightweight heavyweight matchup. It was a title matchup as well. And
rear naked choke.
It was insane, that rear naked choke. I mean, obviously this one really made you say wow, because the whole fight was going back and forth, and it was he got choked out. Teixeira got choked out in the 5th round. So it was really, really a crazy fight going back and forth. They were both beating up on each other. I mean, the rear naked choke happened in the 5th round, and it really seemed like Prochaska was going to lose that fight.
Most people had Glover winning. Yes,
exactly. If you were going to go the distance, I mean, pretty much it would have been a 3-2, matchup. But somehow Prochaska was able to take those punches. Man, he was able to eat up so many punches, and for him to be able to take all those punches, and also from a guy like Glover, even though Glover's in his late years, but he's got
they was
punch,
trading,
bro. But they were trading punches, and they were both bloodied up. And if you remember, Prochaska was the one that was really bloody more than than Teixeira during the fight. So I mean, that was a crazy submission. Nobody really expected it to happen because the way that the fight was going.
Oh, no.
And even when they were on the ground, the guy that was winning on the ground was Teixeira. So you didn't really expect, you definitely saw why Prochaska's so good. He could flip his way around you with his long legs. He's able to really, he's got some weird stances. He likes to move around and stuff when he's on the ground, but the way he was able to control, Teixeira in that 5th round on the ground was incredible, because it didn't happen in the fewer, the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round. But
right,
for me, that's why I think that was definitely one of the best.
Oh no,
What about you though?
gotta be one of the top choices. The man's was seconds away from basically losing his title shot.
Right.
And pretty much came out in the 5th round with the rear naked chokehold. So 100% agreed.
Right.
That was honestly what I first chose
Mm.
when I thought about this. But then I was like, and you'll see why I didn't choose that for right now. But I was like, you know what? I think I need to switch this choice up.
Gotcha.
And I ended up switching it to Charles Oliveira when he choked out Justin Gaethje.
Ooh,
Because that was a fantastic finish.
that was a beauty.
Pretty much that was very hyped up. A lot of, even more hyped up just because of the whole belt issue. But pretty much didn't disappoint. Oliveira tried to set the tone early, caught Gaethje right out the gate, put him on wobbly legs. But pretty much Gaethje always liked to throw back.
Right.
So Gaethje ended up catching him with an uppercut. Oliveira dropped. Gaethje said, "I don't want none of that. Get back up." Oliveira got back up, got snapped right back down with a straight. I don't want none of that again. Get back up. He got back up, but at that point, Gaethje was a little more comfortable. And this is done time and time again. We done seen Charles take a punch, take more than a punch,
That's a fact.
get knocked down, get back up. So him and Gaethje are trading again. At a certain point, Gaethje gets caught. Pretty much, they try to do a little grappling. And once Gaethje got dropped, Charles have no problem going to the ground. Pretty much got in there, the little scrambling, but he just slipped his arm under the chin and got that submission.
Yeah, man.
And it was just like that. Obviously, first round, quick as hell. And then, like I said, in that you got 3 damn knockdowns. It looked like it wasn't going good for Charles, and then just like the turn of an eye, came through, got a submission. And at that point, he's just like, we're coming from the submission GOAT.
Yeah.
And that's one other thing why I chose him, because I already had 2 this year, and we're talking about the submission GOAT. What, probably 19 all time?
You're not wrong about that. He was even talking about before the fight that he was gonna submit him, and he did.
So I definitely give him submission of the year.
I mean, you know what? I mean that's a great one because also obviously like every time that Charles went down as well, like you said,
Gaethje did not
Gaethje
want to go
didn't
down
want it.
there.
He didn't want it down below, so he
no.
just let him get back up, which is insane to me. So obviously he knew that he was trying to stay away from that, stay away from the ground. So I mean that's a great pick, man. I can't lie, that's a great pick. I mean both of those could definitely win it. Either one could, because they were both for title fights as well. So
Exactly. Like I said, Yuri pretty much snatching the crown away in the last second with the rear naked, and Gaethje knocking down Oliveira twice to then get submitted. Both great choices.
True. I mean, you can't go wrong with either.
And I'll be honest, they're gonna be obviously all these awards are chosen at the end of the year. We're gonna do by us, obviously, but by the organization as well.
Exactly.
So right now, these 2 are clearly top 2 choices. So it's gonna be hard to see another submission in the rest of this year that can honestly beat that.
Yeah, I mean, you're not lying. You're not
At least
lying
like
about
one
that.
of those.
And we could talk about that a little bit later, actually, because looking into the future for one of these guys, he might have a chance. But
Yeah,
I mean, both of those, like you said, both of those are definitely in the running for even contender of the year, not just
fight and submission of the year.
Yes,
Yep.
submission of the year. Yep, both of them are. But next up, you want to do knockout of the year?
Oh yeah, knockout of the year. I would say, want me to take that?
Yeah, there are. Don't matter. I mean, I know who I'm picking for this
Who
one.
you
It might
got?
be a little bit different. So for me, man, I know people are gonna remember this one because this was one of the most spectacular knockouts, not just in the UFC this year, but honestly in UFC women's history. Weili Zhang going against Joanna.
Oh yeah.
And oh man, with that back fist, the spinning back fist, that was insane. Obviously, it was in UFC 275 on June 11th,
Ooh.
so it's pretty recent.
Oh
So a
yeah,
lot of
very
people
recent.
remember it. It was in the second round. 2 minutes 28 seconds in the second round, and obviously this was a rematch for Joanna. She was trying to come back and defeat Weili. This was
Right.
This was supposed to be a big rematch for her, coming back after being injured as well.
The closest and basically best women's fight we've ever seen was Weili versus Joanna.
The first one was definitely in the history books as like one of the greatest women's fights ever.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it won all like the all rounds, and then they were bloodied up by
Oh
the
yeah.
end of it. I mean, we both said like how Joanna looked, and we saw how like Wei Lee looked. They were both crazy, but I mean, Wei Lee came out on this one, and she was really like fit in this fight. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
could
She
see
was
that
putting the
Joanna
pressure.
was the one that was like trying to get fit for this fight. Like Wei Lee came out there, she was moving around the ring very easily, moving around Joanna, and she was actually able to like get a few really good hits in the first round where it kind of like knocked her back, brought her towards the cage, and she was fighting from the cage a little bit, Joanna. So the second round, same thing pretty much happened, and she was moving back towards the cage, and then as they were kind of clinched together, Wei Li Zhang kind of pushed her away, and then she did the spinning back fist, and honestly, it was a Nate Robinson from there, and that's what I'm gonna call it, a Nate Robinson drop, and y'all know what I'm talking about.
Girl got retired.
And that's the thing about that, like the knockout of the year, I call it that because not only did she lose, and then after the loss, obviously Joanna went in the interview when she said that she's gonna retire from the UFC. She said that she can't do it anymore. So
Girl got
that's
retired.
that's honestly why I definitely think it's one of the best, not just knockouts of the year, but also of women's history. I mean, yeah, Joanna's 34 and she's got a great legacy, and
Oh yeah.
nothing goes against her. But the way that the previous meeting happened with Wei Lee, she won it in a split decision, and then obviously this one, we thought it was going to be another brutal fight, and it was. It was just brutal on one side though. So
And very short.
definitely crazy fight. Definitely crazy fight.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought that was a great because at the end of the day, like just like you said, spinning back fist to retire one of the GOATs. Definitely gotta go as one of the knockouts of the year.
Right.
So 100%. But honestly, for me,
Oh,
I thought I thought about Zaylee. But truthfully, just seeing Michael Chandler melt Tony Ferguson's face off.
Ooh, another
with
guy
that
pretty much retired. Another guy.
With that kick. And like that's the thing, like one, I've never seen such a bad kick. Like Tony's face was deformed while them toes was in his chin.
I ain't going front. His chin was like above his nose.
And his face was deformed. When you look at that in slow motion, for him to drop like that and still be out for minutes, it was such a brutal knockout. I'll be honest, like Ferguson was actually doing pretty decent going up against each other. I'll be honest, most of us knew it wasn't going to be a competitive. We already knew what it was. But Tony actually looked pretty good, exchanged pretty well. Didn't want to stay in the pocket too long, was trading blows, throwing kicks, keeping his distance, trying to find that range. So he actually really did all right up until that fucking kick came.
Right, man.
And then Chandler said he don't even practice kicks. So
that's what I was gonna say.
that's not something he tried to throw. Like he just seen it, just flicked it up. It was like it literally wasn't like it was the most powerful kick either. Like he just flicked it up, caught him in the right perfect just frame
right in the middle,
between
his arms.
God, like it was such a brutal knockout. So for me, that's 100% knockout of the year.
So I ain't gonna lie,
because it's not easy to put down Tony
Tony
Ferguson.
Ferguson's a big dude for sure. It's not easy to put him away, and he's got a lot of length.
El Kuki, he just makes his whole career of just getting bloodied up and beaten up, while still just he's like the Korean Zombie. That's all. That's what they fight like.
Bro, you could tell. I mean, have you seen his ears? Like,
yeah,
you can tell. I mean. But I'm not gonna lie. As far as brutal knockouts goes, that was definitely a brutal knockout.
It hurt to see that. Like I seen that, and it wasn't even like I cheered. I was just extremely concerned right away. I'm like, oh my god.
And that was definitely brutal. And honestly, for as far as brutal knockout, that probably wins. But like you said, that he didn't really expect to even throw that kick out there. It was just like something that he threw. So it wasn't like as pretty as the one that Wei Li Zhang did. I mean, with them, they were clinched. Joanna and Wei Li, they were clinched up, and then it was like a very quick, sudden push where Joanna tried to hit Wei Li with a left. She moved back, and then she just decided she was like, "I'm just gonna do a spinning left kick." I'm sorry, a spinning back fist, and then knocked her right in the square in the jaw, where you could even see that she pretty much I mean. It probably broke parts of her jaw, and we know that she went to surgery after the fight. They even said that she went to surgery, but they didn't say if it was broken or if it was just reconstruction, just for movement or something.
I'll be honest, I can pretty much I'll bet money that Michael Chandler Now, like, there's 6 months left in the year, and there will not be another highlight
Yeah.
in the UFC this year like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
That was a
If we go with
highlight.
that, yeah, yeah. If we
And when
say
they get to
that,
the end of the year and they look at fight of the year, or I mean, not fight of the year, knockout of the year,
yeah, ain't gonna cap. That's the highlight
that's
of the
the
year.
highlight of the year. They're
Yeah.
gonna pick that as fight of the year, and I don't
That's
see
knockout.
anything else
Yeah.
being as brutal. Like, I promise you, unless unless it is Adesanya get caught with the meanest left hook by Alex Pereira and go stiff again,
Right.
that's the only, like, Chandler caught him so clean, so flush,
Right.
and he was out cold. He was out before his foot left his face.
I mean, that's a fact. I mean, man, it was brutal. I'm gonna give you that. You know what? It was definitely like the highlight of the year. Just the way that it came in, it was unexpected for sure. So
Yeah,
I kind of gotta give you that. But as far as like jujitsu, like fighting with how pretty it is, like I like that spinning back fist. I mean, usually when you're thinking about kicks, knockouts, you're usually thinking about side kicks or side kicks to the head. But that one was a middle one, so you never really expect that as much. So
yeah,
I can
yeah.
understand you picking that. And honestly, you're kind of like changing my mind a little bit now that I'm thinking about it, because the way you said it's gonna be highlighted
It's gonna be a highlight of the year.
You're right about that 100%. So honestly, I'm really like tied on this one now. Like I was going for Whaley's a little bit more, but now I'm definitely like tied with him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
obviously with obviously we just did two.
Because also that
two
fight
awards.
was a title fight, the Whaley fight versus
Exactly. Yeah. We just did two awards. But both of the ones that I didn't choose, my backup choices, the one you chose.
And that's funny because the ones that I didn't choose, that was my backup.
Right.
That's
So
crazy.
definitely, like,
So, I mean,
definitely good choice. So
or,
it'll be
though,
up
right?
there. Yes, sir.
Either or. And next up, we do got the fight of the year,
Fight of the year.
and I'm gonna
And
just
we
start.
just talked about four of them.
And we pretty much did. And I think one of them is going to be it. And for me, it is. I mean, I'm going to pick that Yuri Prochaska fight where he beat Glover. I still want to talk about that one a little bit more. I mean, it was still in that UFC 275, which was an amazing card as well.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Teixeira beat Glover. I'm sorry, Prochaska beat Teixeira. Why can't they have like easy names like John
Yuri.
and Sam and you know what I'm
Yuri.
saying? Like, no,
Yuri
I'm
and
saying,
Yuri
I'm
and
saying their
Glover.
last name though.
Yuri and Glover.
That's what I
Everyone knows
gotta start
exactly who you
doing.
talk about. Yuri and
Hey,
Glover.
yo, P and T, like they was fighting, and then all right, like, nah, Prochaska, like he got him in a submission in the 5th round, with 4 minutes left, which is pretty crazy. It was, he was able to land 231 significant strikes, both of them were, and Prochaska was able to land 130 to Teixeira's 100, 68%, accuracy for Teixeira, 58% for Prochaska. So it's one of the most accurate punching fights in history. The last one at this level was a 57.9% accuracy, which was a John Jones fight back in like 2013. So honestly, like a lot of them started out with like a few leg kicks, but most of it was head and body shots. That's it. Like head and body shots most of the way, and they were connecting. Honestly, both of them were going at it. Teixeira was honestly getting that Prochaska a little bit more. He was actually able to like hurt him a little bit with his fists, where Prochaska was moving back. He was actually like stumbled a little bit a few times, and honestly, there was one point in the 3rd round where he thought like they might even stop the fight, because he was starting to wobble, and he had so much blood in his I think it was like right outside of his eye that was cut, and it was like bleeding so much. So that's what Teixeira was really hoping for. But I mean, obviously, once you got into the final minute of the 4th round, in the final minute of the 4th round, you can kind of see where Prochaska was able to like spin around Teixeira, and Teixeira didn't want to stay on the ground that much. Every time that they went on the ground, Teixeira would like stay there a little bit, and then Prochaska would somehow come around him and do like some sort of reverse, where he was able to like take control of the ground game. And Teixeira didn't really want to do that in the 5th round. He wanted to stay up. He really wanted to keep the fight up on top, and he actually made a mistake, Prochaska, where he actually like he hit him really hard. He hit Prochaska really hard, and he was starting to move back towards the cage, and it looked like he was wobbling, ready to fall and ready to get knocked out. All you needed was 2 more shots, but Teixeira didn't take his chance. He just didn't. And honestly, at that point, after the 4th round was done, it was for sure 3-1 on Teixeira was winning that fight 3-1 at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Once 4 rounds are done. 5th round came up. Very quickly, you could see that Teixeira was not, he wasn't trying to get it to the ground, but he made a mistake where he tried to do a takedown, and that's where Yuri got him. He was able to get around his back, take control, and get that submission. And it was an incredible fight. First of all, it was a title fight. We talked about that before. Second of all, the guy that won wasn't winning most of the fight.
Right.
And obviously Teixeira is in his late years. Prochaska's kind of like, coming up in his prime right now. But as far as it was going, the older guy was beating the young kid, so it really looked like it was going to be like a storybook ending. But then Yuri just came up and he just ruined it for him. So that's why I had it as my fight of the year, though. Honestly, it was just like the storyline, young versus old. Also, like the way that the fight was going. That's why. What about you, though? What you think about
that? So honestly, same.
Really?
That's why I didn't pick him for submission of the year, because I actually chose it for fight of the year.
Gotcha.
Like you said, instant classic. 231 significant strikes landed. High efficiency, high accuracy.
Right.
Glover was piecing him up all fight. He was getting his hooks going real good. Dropped him a few times. Basically, it looked like it was money in the bag.
Yeah.
Up until we got to the 5th round, Glover actually hit him with a hook. He got wobbly, and instead of going for the ground and pound, decided to go for a fucking rear naked choke.
Right.
Which didn't work, and that's how the scramble happened with the reach around to the back, and then that's how he lost the fight. So pretty much, like, I'll be honest, I don't have much to say because you basically just said everything.
Right.
And this is the 3rd time we pretty much picked this fight in this episode alone, just to let you know how good that fight was. Clearly, like I said, 231 significant strikes with what you said, 68 and 58% accuracy. That is 100% going down as an instant classic. Like, that's why there's no questions about it. That is one of the best fights and one of the best submissions we had this year.
And it already ranks number 1 in as far as like the accuracy. Like
the accuracy
100%. Of significant strikes, it already ranks number 1. But also
they were trading blows all night.
Just the fact that Teixeira was winning that fight. He was winning that fight.
And and then most people had him losing to begin with. He came out, showed that he was looking younger, looking fresher, looking stronger, was winning the whole fight, just for Yuri to pull himself from the jaws of the mouth of a shark and just set himself free.
He set himself up for failure at the end, because he made a mistake trying to go down for that last takedown when he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
It was definitely his fault. And man, it feels bad, because I think Yuri's gonna come back, or sorry, not Yuri, but I think that Glover's gonna come back and fight again. One more fight possibly before he retires. You never know.
He says he's not done, but at the end of the day, he's not getting a title shot.
Not anymore. And honestly, we'll see what happens with Yuri, because he's got some crazy stances when he stands, so he can easily get knocked out by somebody that's a little bit more technically sound, and especially
he just showed a lot of holes.
He does. He definitely showed a lot of holes in this game. He was getting hit a lot. Definitely getting punched around a lot, got bled up a little bit. They even brought in the doctor at one point. So, in the 3rd round, they brought him in just to look at his eye. They said, "Oh, he's all right," and then they let him go. Yeah, but definitely fight of the year for me. I don't know. And if you guys want to comment below and let us know your fight of the year for this year for the UFC, this is a really good one, because honestly, there's a few that we could also think about. I mean. There's definitely a few other ones that I can think about, like Davidson Figueiredo fight, that where he recaptured the flyweight title versus Moreno. That was a great fight as well. Obviously, even the other knockout that I was talking about, Weili Zhang, those are good ones. So comment below if you want. Tell us the best fight of the year.
After my second choice would have been Gilbert Burns losing to Khamzat Chimaev.
That was a great fight as well.
That was a
great fight as well. And I definitely want to talk about him a little bit later too, Chimaev, but possibly. But let's move on to the fighter of the year.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for me, this is gonna be an easy one. Even though this guy only had one fight this year, I'm gonna be honest, man. It's Charles Oliveira for me.
He had 2.
Well, you're talking about in 2021 or 2022 is what I'm talking about.
He didn't fight Dustin this year?
No, that was December 2021.
That was in December.
So that's why
that's why.
But it's still I still count him because
no, he's still the Gaethje fight still.
Exactly. That Gaethje fight was so good.
But that means everyone else fought once this year besides Israel.
Most people did, except
and those two were pretty very technical fights where
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give you why. I'm gonna give him like fighter of the year status because there is a few things about him. Like I was going. I'm not gonna lie. Like I went with a few other guys at first, like Ngannou with Volkanovski, and but honestly, like Oliveira definitely deserves it. Uh, First of all, he's got the lightweight wrapped around his neck. Like you already know that he's got that. He cemented it. He's been balling out. He had that May 7th showdown with Justin Gaethje, which was insane. It didn't have the fighter of the year status for me yet because he did do some things which we'll talk about later. But as far as like just him being the fighter of the year, as far as like the whole UFC, he cemented himself for that. There is a few things why I might have a disagreement with what he did this year, but as far as in the ring, I think that he cemented himself as fighter of the year.
Yeah.
But outside the ring, he might have not. Is what I'm saying.
Right,
That's
right.
what I meant to say by that. But obviously, like during that Justin Gaethje fight, like early, it looked like Oliveira, like he was getting hit a little bit, but not too much. Like he was taking a few punches here and there, and surprisingly, like Justin was trying to really use his legs. Justin Gaethje was trying to use his legs on Oliveira, and really trying to get more significant strikes in the first round, and he did. He was able to like get 33 shots, to 21. So it was definitely like like he was hoping that he was gonna do it, but just like later in the fight, he got him with the takedown, which was obviously still in the first round, but it just like once you get that takedown from Charles, you can't get away, man. Like
Right.
he can submit you so quickly, and it's not just that like he beat one of the best guys in his division. Like he's done that for the last 5 fights.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way he did it, how quickly he did it, and he knows what he does best. He knows he does best on the ground. He knows that he can submit you, and obviously like the reason why I have him as probably a fighter of the year is because even other UFC fighters are talking about how good his reign has been just since he's had the belt, and getting all the way to this year and beating one of the best guys again in Justin Gaethje. Even like other fighters have said that Khabib possibly retired because Oliveira was coming onto the scene. So that's what a lot of people were saying, is because like Oliveira was getting into his prime. That's why.
Fighters didn't say that. The news, like people online.
No.
That.
There was a prominent fighter in the UFC that said that. There was one prominent fighter that recently suggested that
Who?
a retired lightweight GOAT Nurmagomedov might have walked away in part of fear out of Oliveira.
Who said that?
It's a prominent fighter. Y'all gonna have to go ahead and research that yourselves, though. Make sure you guys do that. That is true.
I seen the same thing.
I've heard that on a few.
I seen the same thing. But I couldn't see, like, it was always people on, like.
It said it was a former champion, so I don't know.
Wild thing is, like, he was literally a journeyman at that point. Charles Oliveira was known. He was just not as good as he was now. No one was scared of him.
Right.
So Khabib didn't retire because he was coming.
I agree with you 100%, but people are just saying that that's how good he is.
No,
So people are just saying
because
that
people
as
are
far
saying
as-
that he would beat Khabib, and now people are saying that's why Khabib won't come back, and now people are saying that's why he's retired. It's just a whole, like, and I promise you, I don't believe not one person in the UFC that isn't on Charles Oliveira's team said that Khabib retired.
But you know what's interesting though is like if Khabib possibly could have retired because he saw like all the talent that was coming up. I don't know.
I mean, he
Just
beat
saying.
everyone.
He did.
But Charles was the only one, because Charles at that point had a losing record and wasn't even in the top 10.
No, that's true. That's true though. He definitely. You got a good point there though. He wasn't even in the top 10 at that point, and yeah, he wasn't obviously like Khabib wasn't looking at him like that. So
Yeah, no.
It wasn't a big deal, but obviously people are saying that just because they're comparing the prime of Charles to the prime of Khabib, and I could see that. I think that they have different.
I think
skill
Charles'
sets, so
prime is already better than Khabib's.
as far as a prime, but
Yes.
as far as like styles, I do think that Khabib would be the type of fighter that could beat Charles because of knockout power. But that's just me.
Well, it depends. Charles clearly got knockout power, and Charles just pretty much
Better on the
withstood
ground, yeah.
some of the two top knockout artists in his division, in Dustin Poirier and Gaethje and Chandler.
Right.
His 3 last fights, he almost got knocked out, showed he got a chin, came back out and submitted all 3 of them.
True. True.
So really, I'll be honest. Our closest test to seeing what Charles Oliveira can do is pretty much coming this November.
So is that your fighter of the year, real quick, though? Charles
Yeah,
Oliveira?
yeah.
And
He said everything that needs to be said, so we could just move on to the fight in
that's
November.
where I was just gonna get at.
Yeah, because if y'all want to see if he could beat Khabib,
Right.
we're gonna get the Dagestanian monster himself, not Khabib,
Gonna say,
but
Israel Makhachev.
exactly.
Islam Makhachev, excuse me.
So he's gonna be pretty much.
It's gonna be a crazy fight.
Yeah.
You know, UFC 280. They're already like they got. I mean, the posters up. So make sure you guys check out that.
Yeah,
stuff,
so pretty much like you said, he won fight obviously, but dominated. Almost got knocked out twice. Had the belt debacle, but pretty much we're talking about a man who's all-time leader in finishes with 19, submissions at 16, and pretty much at this point fought the top 3 contenders in his division and beat them in wild fashions. Right. And now he's taking on the next one. So at this point, I think he's going to be fighter of the year. I know, like you said.
You think so?
Yes.
You're calling his next fight a win, pretty much.
Yes.
That's what you're saying already.
Yeah.
Wow. Prediction alert. Prediction alert. Prediction alert.
I'll be honest. So you know what it is? I was one of the people who slept on him so much.
Okay.
I refused to give him the respect he deserved, and he refused to. He keeps showing me wrong.
Bro, I remember because I was always picking him, and you were like, nah, Charles doesn't have this one. I'm like, yo, Charles is a submission monster. Like, he's a win streak monster.
At this point.
But nah, I mean.
So at this point, he's going to. Anyone to go on the floor with him is going to have to respect his skills regardless if they think they're the best wrestler in the world. Listen, same thing. You know why I think he's going to win? So, Chimaev versus Burns. Chimaev thought he can go in there and throw everyone around. And he was.
Right.
Until he got to a BBJ expert.
Right, but he still won.
But Burns isn't champion.
I feel you. But Burns, yeah, he's
but
not
I'm saying,
champion, yeah.
But Chimaev has the same wrestling. Thought he could do whatever he want until he got to someone who's prolific on the ground at BBJ.
I feel you.
So for me, Islam think he's about to go on the floor with Oliveira. He's stupid.
Here's the thing.
He's stupid.
I do agree with you on. Man, these guys are all their names.
Chimaev versus Burns.
Chimaev, Fazia, Makhachev, Nurmagomedov. You got so many, but yes. So Chimaev, I do agree with you on that, but Makhachev is a lot better on the ground. Makhachev is so much better on the ground.
And you know who's a lot better than Burns too?
Obviously Charles is the best.
That's what I'm saying.
In the UFC, but here's the thing though, like he can hold his own. He's been on the ground where he's been tested, and
Islam hasn't been tested.
Islam's been tested
by who? Barneal.
I mean, he's gotten on the ground where
I'm talking about. It's just like
been held on top where he's had to like.
Well, but I'm saying like it's just like the whole Alex Pereira and Chimaev. Like Islam basically gets to skip everyone for a title shot because all the last 4 people above him just fought for the title. He hasn't fought no one in the top 5. He only fought one person in the top 10. Same thing with Chimaev. He thought he was running through everyone until he got someone in the top 5, and he had problems running through him. Now, obviously, we all thought Chimaev still was going to win. Right. I personally wanted Burns to give it, a little bit. But that's my point. Everyone loves to just like, oh, this guy did this guy that. Islam has not faced top 5 competition yet in his division, and he's skipping all them.
6. So I mean,
who's a 6?
Well, what he just faced recently? What do you mean his last fight? Islam Makhachev's last fight that he faced was against the number 6 guy in the UFC, and the reason why I don't agree with like your earlier part is because a lot of people. I'm not saying you. I'm definitely not saying you're saying this, but a lot of people like to put all these like Dagestan and Russian and Kazakhstan fighters like all in the same boat, like they fight the same way, like they're boxers or something. And like
Chimaev has his own. He has his own wrestling style. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, it's definitely weird, and he's not good at wrestling. But Makhachev, I would say he's a lot better wrestler than, even Kazmat and
and he's going up against the worst person he wants to go up against on the floor.
I definitely
in
agree
the
with
UFC,
that,
not even in his
he's
division.
He's better
in the UFC.
He's definitely better than people give him credit for. Obviously, I mean, for him to keep winning. He's a knockout specialist as well. So
Bro, he faced Bobby Green.
Bobby Green, yes, thank you, Bobby Green. Yeah. And Bobby Green was on top of him like a lot that fight.
But I'm saying he hasn't faced no competition yet, and he don't
top 6.
Bobby Green is not top 6.
He was number 6 at that time.
Bobby Green is 29-13-1.
Check the stats. Check the rankings. I think he's still like top 10. Bobby Green. He's still like top 10. He's still on the top 10. I promise you, Bobby Green.
But not to mention, and we could have this conversation.
We
top
definitely
5,
will have that
top 1 to top 5. It's still a whole way better ball game than top 6 to top 10.
And I feel you on that, but he's already faced everybody though.
Exactly, but that's the whole point. So right now, Islam has not faced top 5 competition. Let him know. So everyone thinking he's about to go in there and be the better ground person, y'all tripping.
I mean,
we watched him go against scrubs for the last 3 years.
I won't be honest. Like, I think that he has like faced some competition. I mean, there's a reason that they want him to fight.
Bro, Bobby Green. Before that, Dan Hooker, and Dan Hooker wasn't ranked in top 10.
I mean,
Tiago Moises, like these are older names, like they're not.
Hooker was ranked. Now he's still like 13th in the rankings.
He hasn't faced anyone in the top 10. That's what I'm saying. He did. Bobby Green wasn't a top 10. I'll give you that.
But he wasn't a top.
He wasn't a top 10.
He was top 6.
But give Bobby, like we just named off. We literally have Poirier, Gaethje, Chandler, and freaking Oliveira. Bobby Green means absolute jack shit in that division.
And I feel you on that. But there's a reason why, like, he's first of all, like, he's on
now he's getting it because
10-fight win streak, and plus half of his wins are by submission. So obviously he's good enough on the ground.
Oh no, he deserves a fight next.
Like,
but I'm saying everyone thinking he's about to just go in there like no.
No, my point is not that. That's not my point, that he's just gonna go in and win. My point is that he's not like the other Russians as far as stand-up fighting. He's definitely a more ground and pound guy, and also ground guy.
And he's going up against the worst person he wants to take to the floor.
He's 22-1, and 10 of his wins are by submission. 10 of them. So like half of his wins are by submission, only 3 by knockout. So he's not that type of puncher. He's not like Fiziev. He's not like the other guys. So I just definitely think it's a better matchup.
Oh no, it's gonna be a great matchup.
We're definitely gonna talk about that when you see how hype we are.
Until you face top 5 competition, I will not. I can't give you any props on what your skill set is so far until you show me that skill set against the elite in your division.
I mean, I agree with you on some level, honestly, but the UFC always likes to bring guys up before they lose, so then they can make money.
But I'm not disagreeing against that. I'm just saying. You're not going to convince me that
not giving them respect.
Not at all until he starts.
And I get that.
So that's fine. He go out there and wash Oliveira. Then I have nothing to say.
And I feel you on that. But I
don't think that's going to happen.
I watched his last 5 fights. He's on a 10 fight win streak. He's got 10 wins.
Bro, if I didn't tell you who Bobby Green was, you couldn't tell me his last 5 opponents. No one can. Like I
definitely knew Dan Hooker, but Bobby Green I couldn't remember just
because they're all
top
forgettable.
6, but he was
because they're all forgettable.
I mean, he was a top 6 though in his own right.
Bro, we literally just talk about the most vacant, prolific division, and we've said it plenty times this year alone that this is the most stacked division. That's what I'm saying.
4 or 5, and there is one guy that definitely deserves
Bobby
to
Green
go
might as well be 13th right now. He probably is 13th right now.
I'm not gonna lie. The only guy that I think that possibly deserved to move up above Makhachev was Darnush.
Yeah, and I was waiting for that matchup.
That's what I was waiting for as well. But I knew that they were gonna move Makhachev right as
and I would have respected him if he go out there and watch Darnush.
Yeah, that's gonna be
no Bobby Green though.
I feel you, but I still think it's gonna be a great fight, and we're gonna talk about that one late in October.
Yes, we
that's
know.
Gonna be
I would say that's 100% announced. So yeah,
you can already see we're hype about this one.
100%. It's gonna be a great fight.
Wait for that one because I know I got a lot to say about that one. You got a lot to say, and I'm gonna be honest. Already,
I might switch my pick. We'll see.
I mean, I'm not gonna switch my. I'm thinking we're gonna disagree on this one already because
you're already calling the upset.
I'm already calling the upset. That's my prediction. Yeah. So let's keep going. Anyways, let's just move on to the next fighter. But
we got best female fighter.
Talk about that later. But best female fighter. You want to go with that one next?
Yeah.
For me, it's got to be Weili Zhang.
Same.
I mean, yeah.
And she retired someone.
Exactly. Like you got to give it to her.
And because Rose lost to
Yes.
Carla Esparza, now what was supposed to be just a great rematch pretty much turned into a title shot. So
Plus-
now she pretty much retired Joanna and pretty much gets a title shot.
Well,
So.
that Pena fight didn't happen as well too. Like they postponed it. The next Pena fight, right? Wasn't.
No, that's different division.
Well, no, not,
It's
not, I'm
Carla
not
is-
saying Rose,
it's
and
Car-
I'm not saying Rosen, but I'm saying like she wasn't
Well,
fighter.
Pena who? Juliana?
Yeah, it was Juliana Pena.
That's another
versus,
division.
I know, but that's why I'm saying she's not fighter there because they canceled her fight. Remember? Because
Oh,
if she would have
but-
fought, then she probably would have won. Then they just. I'm pretty sure they had the women's fight and
No,
UFC
no. That's happening.
275. Well, no, I know it's happening later in the year, but it was supposed to just happen. They canceled the fight. And if she would have won, then she probably would have been my women's fighter of the year.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
but nah, until I wasn't even thinking about that because it didn't happen. But I'm still like Are you sure it was supposed to? It got canceled because
it was supposed to be in UFC 275 actually.
Because they just dropped. They just dropped the TUF.
Well, it was supposed to be UFC 275, and then they moved up that Chandler and Tony Ferguson fight, if you remember. Yeah.
But I thought that was Tate or something, Misha or something like that.
Or was that the Misha Tate?
That's what
fight?
I'm saying. Like Nunez and Pena
Nunez
hasn't
and-
got canceled because it's actually
Oh, you know
still
what?
it's still like it's on schedule. Because I'm saying they still dropping the TUF episodes for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter is still.
It
Going
was
on
Misha
for sure.
Tate or somebody that was supposed to be on that card.
And yeah, I'm gonna check that right now. But anyways, as far you know what, Nunez and Pena is happening.
Like next month or in 2 months.
Yeah, July 30th. It is happening. That's true.
This is next one.
That's
Okay,
true.
yeah, I was gonna say no.
So
That's
that
the
is the next
schedule.
one.
Yeah,
So-
that's the schedule.
That's true. So yeah. So that's what I was thinking about, and you're right about that. It was
It was. I think it was like Misha or something because she was supposed to come back and we were all excited about it.
It was
Yes, Misha Tate versus
yeah.
Lauren Murphy.
Lauren Murphy
Yes.
versus Misha Tate. That's right, because Lauren Murphy was beasting on her.
So at
but
this point, it's pretty much
I was
between
thinking about
Zaylee
Pena.
and Valentina.
That's right. Yeah.
Because she had a great title defense this year. Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
So
she beat
pretty
him.
much, but
She
like
beat him.
Whaley retired somebody.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
And now gets a title shot.
If you brought this in another month, and that's
Yes.
what I was saying. If
No.
Pena wins,
Even if Pena loses, if Amanda come back and dominates and knock Pena
That's gonna
out,
be
that's
women's
going to
fighter of
be
the
it,
year.
literally.
Right.
So
Yeah.
whoever
That's what I
wins
was
that
thinking,
fight
yeah.
next month, 100% is about to be fighter of the year for the women.
yeah,
so
my bad,
100%.
I got confused. I thought like that fight.
No,
that was a fight
because
that got canceled.
There
and
was a
they
high
moved that
profile
one.
fight recently
It
that
was-
did
it was
get canceled. It was a
that
Tate.
woman's fight, it was
Yeah.
the Misha Tate one, but that's what I was thinking. I was thinking like, if that fight, happens, that's gonna be my women's fight.
No,
of the
because
year.
100% if Juliana wins again, then
Right.
yeah.
And if Pena wins again, because she just came back from having a baby, bro. Like,
Pretty
that's-
much like it's
gotta give it to her.
whether Amanda comes, like if Amanda gets her belt back, like it's gonna be that's gonna be a fight. So
women's fighter of the year. So let's move on to the men's fighter of the year. I mean, we talked about fighter of the year, but the best male fighter, basically.
yeah, I'm gonna stick with my choice.
You're gonna stick with Olivier. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm honestly gonna go with Volkanovski though. I know that I didn't, and this
Here's
is
my backup.
so this is why the only thing I wanted to bring up, and I know I said it previously when I was talking about Charles Olivier. The only reason why I'm not picking Charles Olivier as male fighter of the year is because he had weight issues during the weigh-ins. So that
Yeah.
was my only issue with him, and that's why I can't have him as the best male fighter, because he had issues off the mat pretty much. So that's literally the only reason. Volkanovski came out there, he beasted, and Volkanovski's still in his prime at 37.
And he just solidified his GOAT conversation.
Ghost
Yeah,
status.
yeah.
Most wins in a row. Most I think title defenses in that division.
And beat the other GOAT of that division twice and
twice,
three times.
Oh,
Three times.
Three times. Sorry.
In
No,
fashion. Like maulings.
ridiculous fashion.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
it's just hands down he's the best in that division.
So yeah, the only reason that I have best male fighter is Volkanovski is because of the Livriera problems with the weigh-in.
Yeah, yeah.
Only reason. But that's literally it.
No,
other
yeah,
reason.
yeah.
'Cause
For me, it
honestly,
was the
it's-
same.
As far as skill, best male fighter, I would probably go with Oliviera, but off. I'm
Especially
thinking
knowing
about
what he
off the
got
field.
lined up.
Yeah, because fighter, when you're looking at fighter, I'm thinking about inside the octagon. Best male fighter, I'm thinking about as an overall athlete, as a UFC athlete.
I
You
get
know
what you're
I
saying.
mean?
I feel you.
That's kind of how I go at it. But anyways, yeah. But the last one that we kind of really wanted to get through his.
Oh, we got 2 more.
Oh, that's true. I'm sorry. My bad. I definitely, yeah. Because we did add.
We just randomly added one right before. No, I talking about while we were sitting on the couch.
Right.
We just added one at the end. Like, want to do this?
And that's going to be the card of the year at the end.
Much
but right before the card of the year, we wanted to talk about either the best like rookie or prospect of the year.
Yes.
You know? Like,
so
what do you think about that?
We kind of took different definitions.
Right.
So, and no, I'll be honest. Yours is better because mine was just hard. Best prospect, obviously UFC comers. I'll be honest, I even chose like Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
While he's not new, he
like,
basically went 5-0 2020, went 0-3 last year, and then this year looked like he's coming back. But for me, he just chose people like couple fights in. Most of your options started last year, 2021. Right. I dug to try to find someone specifically who had their first UFC fight this year. And at this point, there is literally only one person who like can give a good shot for that, and that's pretty much Jack Della Maddalena.
Yeah.
And that's hard as hell to say.
It is, but he's a beast. I mean, my
2-0.
Short,
2
stocky.
Great highlight knockouts. I think he's Australian?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Australian. Yep, a first round knockout in January. And then another first round finish just last month at 275.
That's right, yeah. So
right now he's looking pretty good for the year. He's good at scrambling, good at takedowns. Obviously he got hands, a good boxer. So right now I think I got him. But like I said, my criteria was a little bit more specific to this year. I think you just chose someone that's like.
Well, that's a pretty good choice because he's only fought 2 fights this year.
And they both.
In the
he's
UFC.
2-0 and they're 2 this year.
2-0. And honestly, if you guys
January
haven't
was
checked out
his
his fight,
first fight.
check
Check out my
fight.
boy.
Yeah. Because Jack
he's gonna be
over. He's a beast. Like
he's
honestly,
definitely
I watched
gonna
his
be
fights.
that. Yeah.
They were dope as hell. Like I can't lie, but I'm gonna be honest. Like the only reason I picked somebody else is because I was thinking about your guy. There was 2 other guys that I was thinking of that I'm gonna mention, and the guy that I went with is honestly Alex Pereira, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like this man, Alex Pereira, and people are gonna know about him now. People are gonna know about him now, especially coming up.
Yeah, when they see that man on the floor in November.
Yeah, pretty well. I don't know about that. Well, at least when they see his name on the poster
right.
for the main card. But I mean, there's no doubt that he's the prospect of the year in 2022. Like this man came out of nowhere. He was out of the top 10 last year, out of the top 20 actually, and now in this year, in the middle of the year, it seems like he's got a title fight. He's only had 3 UFC fights, and he won 3-0. All 3 were knockouts. But the only reason why he's considered for a title fight is because the last person that the last person that was beat by him was the champion, Israel.
Pretty much in another kickboxing organization, he went 2-0 against Izzy. So right now, Izzy's already washed the division more than once. Like he's already lapped a couple people twice.
Right.
So at this point, 100%, they're pushing for that fight, for that hype.
Right. And I gotta say, like, I mean, in 2021, it was the end of 2021. Remember, it was November when he had his first fight in the UFC. He faced a overmatched Machado Dennis, and he beat him with a knockout. 2022, early in the year, this was February, he beat Bruno Silva, who was another highly touted prospect, who was also coming up as a prospect this year, and he knocked him out. And then just recently, he knocked out Sean Strickland, who was riding a 6-fight win streak, and appeared to be like definitely in the form of his life. So he definitely took care of business.
That man was so annoying.
I mean, yeah,
it was so hard getting through that week.
It was tough. It was tough, but I mean, honestly, like he did his thing though. You can't lie, he did his thing, and now like a lot of people are looking at him for a title match after 3 fights. That's almost unheard of. That's almost like
I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure I'm on camera at some point last year, literally guaranteeing that man would not get a title shot within the first year.
Damn.
Like I'm thinking about it, and I'm pretty sure we
I remember talking about it. And
we knew
that
we knew Alex from the get. We knew about his
know.
history with Izzy and all that. So I remember like
you know what? No. I remember. I think we both said that he was gonna get a fight because of the
watched the
history.
division and division. I think
Yes,
okay, yeah.
it was because
I'm
of
gonna say we
history.
definitely
Yeah.
before the title shot was a thing. We actually talked about like how soon we think he would get up there.
No,
and I remember thinking it was. You know what? I think I was gonna be like it's got to be 3 fights.
Right.
I think it was.
But
yeah.
no, there was 2 fights only, because we were talking about it in early 2021 before he had his 2 2 fights because he did have that one. We talked about it right after his fight in December. His first fight in the UFC is when we talked about it. And then, but I mean, it might happen in 2. It might happen in 3. You never know. Israel might take somebody else out of Adesanya.
I mean, but do you think Izzy wants to take that fight this year?
I'll be honest. No,
I know that's the thing. I think Izzy likes.
Izzy, no.
Izzy likes to fight 3 times a year, and he's already fought twice. And they already announced the October, like 278 in August is already announced.
Right. That's the Makachev.
They definitely that's August, the last one.
Oh no, it's October.
But I'm saying that's
October,
but yeah, no, that's Usman versus Burns. I mean Usman versus Edwards. That's the last one they officially announced.
Well, no, they just announced the 2 UFC 2 ways. Well, it's announced because they got a date for it.
I know, but they technically they haven't filled out the whole thing. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. They just announced
the last one officially filled out is August. Right. So technically, you got still 5 months after that to squeeze in. You basically got one taken away because October.
There's no way he's going to be on an undercard. He's going to be the main.
So pretty much he got November or December.
I was going to say, because that October one is taken.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know if he's going to want to. I don't know. Izzy might want to say, let's do it because he likes to fight 3 times a year. So we might see that title shot happen this year. That's why I was saying all that.
If I was Izzy, I'm not. Yeah, I feel you.
Because we might see it happen this year.
But yeah, there's only 2 chances, pretty much, like you said.
November or December.
So
yeah,
that does make sense now. Yeah. If it's November, December, I could possibly see.
I think no, but Izzy's gonna want to.
Yes, he is. So. He's making a lot of money right now
that's why he's making money because he fights 3 times a year.
Especially after this fight, seeing how people were like talking shit about how boring this recent fight was, I think he's gonna want to step back a little bit and, I mean, hopefully prepare a little bit. But real quick,
on his entrances.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know, but I still think it's a win for Izzy either way.
Yeah.
If he fights Pereira, but just real quick, the last prospect that I'm gonna just really bring up is a guy that we talked about a little bit earlier, Rafael Fiziev, and he's in the lightweight division, and he's obviously seen a lot of different prospects in his fight too. He's only fought 4 times in the UFC, and he's had literally 4 fights in a 11 months, pretty much a 12-month span, because his previous fight was in May of 2021, and his last fight was in May of 2022. And four fights in the UFC he's had in a 1-year span, which is pretty crazy. Like, I mean, there's guys that have had 5, but
right.
Still for a prospect to do it, win 4 in a row. He's had 3 knockouts, and that's another prospect that I like. Fiziev has been balling out, and he moved all the way up to like a top 10 right now, and we'll see what happens with his future, but he's already beat a guy that was in a number 7 place, so, and that was like Rafael Dos Anjos. So, I mean, I don't know.
That's another good prospect for sure.
That's why I mean both of those are really great prospects, but I mean honestly, like all these guys we're talking about, they could end up as like the finalists for the end of the year awards. I'm gonna be honest.
As long as they fight one more time.
But this year, UFC's just been crazy with the fights, and I hope they keep coming out with them. And they're definitely gonna have some crazy fights.
I mean, yeah, that's literally like we said. Every time we get a main card, it's like it almost seems like it's better than the last one.
That's a fact. And you know we love predicting fights. But if you guys want to predict like a fight that's gonna happen or a fight you think is gonna happen, man, please comment below. Like, let us know what fight you think is gonna happen or what you want to see happen. We love to see that. We love to see different matchups.
Obviously, we got what's it, July, August, September, October.
Yeah, we
got
about
5 main cards left, so you'll hear from us 5 more times. And obviously, we already know one of them is going to be Olivier versus Makachev. So
right.
That's going to be a good main card. Obviously, we don't know what's going to be under that as well.
We still got the Usman card, and we still got like
obviously
the Nunes card.
We got Nunes. You're right, 100%. So we know 3 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So honestly, damn. So we
got some good fights.
We really
up.
do. So most of the cards are taken up already. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's what we got a lot of.
But we do got to go over our top main card.
Of course.
For this year.
That'll be big. Right now is we're gonna go over the card of the year, and if you guys want to comment yours below, please do so. We're gonna go over ours. Go ahead and tell yours first, real quick, and let me see.
100% UFC 273. Wow. That was April 9th. Andrew Volkanovski put a whooping on the Korean Zombie. Aljamain Sterling solidified his belt, because obviously that first disqualification that he won over Peter Yan, a lot of people were just talking crap and didn't think he had it in him. He went out there and dominated in 5 rounds of domination. literally for the
And I'm
decision.
glad he did because
Yes,
a lot of people were
100%.
talking shit
Yeah,
about
yeah.
his
So that
previous
was a great fight to see as well. And then obviously, Gilbert Burns losing to Kazmat Chimaev. Great card.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like those are great cards, and I really can't hold you on that. Like those were great ones, but I already said mine a little bit earlier, and I talked about two of the fights were in there, and it
Yeah.
has to be UFC 275 for me. Teixeira versus Prochaska. Obviously, we talked about the Teixeira fight a lot tonight, and Prochaska fight. That was a great fight, back and forth, back and forth. And that was a championship fight. Prochaska won in the 5th round with a submission, where he looked like he was gonna lose. Before that, you had Valentina Shevchenko ball out and beat Talia Santos in a nice split decision. Before that, you had another win by Weili Zhang against Joanna. That was supposed to be like the second fight that they had, and then you had like guys like Jack Medellana, which you were talking about as a prospect guy. So you had like a lot of fights on that card that were amazing, and I think that was definitely one of the most amazing cards. Even though like maybe the championship fight wasn't like as sexy as people like to say, but like it was still, the whole card itself was dope.
Oh yeah, nah. So 273, 275, and honestly, if neither one of those are chosen, the one right in between, 274. Charles Olivier beating Gaethje. We talked about that. We also talked about Chandler knocking out Ferguson, and then Carla losing or winning against Rose. That's why that card won't be up there, because of that Carla and Rose fight.
Think so?
Yeah, everyone really hated it.
Yeah, that's the only fight that people hated was that one. I mean,
the rest of the card was so good, but everyone hated that fight so much it damn near ruined the event for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, also like the Justin,
because you just had Chandler knock out Ferguson.
I know.
To go to that, to then go to Charles Oliveira.
But then plus, like, that's what I was gonna say. That Justin and Charles fight was very short, so that's why people didn't like that. A lot of people were
pissed. Yeah,
they were pissed.
Both of them were short.
Round,
Chandler knocked out. Yeah, Chandler was quick too.
Chandler was in the second.
So the
round.
ones that were active, like you want to see a knockout or something, but like the one that everyone had to sit through was just so boring.
That's a fact.
And it wasn't even that it was boring, because you know me, I like technicians, but 100%. 100% Rose was scared to shake her shots. Carla did what she was supposed to do. And at the end of the day, like, their styles does cause for a boring fight when one of them is being overcautious like the champion was that night. So
that's
I get it.
So 273, 275. Comment yours below. We definitely want to hear it. And also, man, again, if you're watching us, please go ahead and like this video. Comment what you liked about it. If you guys want to see us like talk about any other fights that are coming up, possibly that we're not talking about, let us know, man. We'd love to hear your input. Also, make sure that if you guys are listening to us on whatever platform you guys are on, either it's Apple, Spotify, we're everywhere. Honestly, we're on Gamecast. Nah, let me stop. There's no Gamecast. It's Dreamcast, homie. No, but
anywhere we are.
Yeah, we are on Podcaster as well. If you guys want to check us out there, all the different podcasting platforms, we're there. Just type in Who You Got, you'll find us. Also, if you just want to go to our Patreon, make sure you guys subscribe on our Patreon. We got a lot of cool things coming out for you guys. And if you guys want to ask us questions on there, that's a place to do it. You just go ahead and type in your question, and we'll give you guys like we'll either put it on the show possibly, or we'll give you like a straight up answer right there on the Patreon. Also, if you want to check us out on social media, let us know, You
already know we have a lot of ideas coming up this summer for some good episodes. We are getting some fans sending us things, and we do love that. That's where some of these episodes are actually coming from. So we definitely want you guys to keep commenting, keep loving, keep liking, keep subscribing, pretty much. Keep sending us anything you want, anything you want to hear about when it comes to topics, or like he said, just questions. That's what we're here for, so.
That's a fact. So, again, appreciate you guys for watching this one, and we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Who You Got with
Mello
and Rado. See you guys next time, y'all.
Peace.